Hey guys, this is Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and today on the podcast we have Yoshi. So those who don't know Yoshi, he's a card counter who turned $3,000 into $1.2 million in the past 2 years of full-time play. And he has recently decided to take an indefinite break from Advantage Play after just kind of getting burned out playing and honestly just the loneliness of a couple years of full-time play. But he is going to share with us his backstory, some advice for other Advantage players, as well as some reflections on the past 2 years of Advantage Play. So welcome to the podcast, Yoshi.
Hey, Colin. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So for those who don't know, starting off, is Yoshi your given birth name?
No, but it's not just a random name. I speak Japanese. I started learning it when I was 12 years old, and I have been to Japan over 10 times, and one summer during college, I was a camp counselor at a Japanese camp in Minnesota, and it was an immersion camp, so only Japanese was spoken at the camp. So all the campers had Japanese names, and all the counselors had Japanese names, so my counselor name was Yoshi. So
okay, so it's stuck.
There you go. Yeah.
Awesome. Is that what you started using on like forums or whatever?
Yeah, I was on Gambling with an Edge, and that was my name on there, and it on forums, I was Yoshi as well, although I didn't really participate in forums too much. I lucked out meeting several other APs in the beginning and was really confident in my network through them, and I wasn't big into the forums, but I know they're great for a lot of people.
Cool. So let's step back a bit. What were you doing before Blackjack?
So I graduated college in 2015, and I majored in Chinese and had also kind of solidified my Japanese as well. And I was considering maybe going to China, Japan, and trying to find some work there. But I was also really interested in music. And so I actually, for the first year after college, I was trying to work on music, writing songs. I got into electronic music a little bit and started producing on Logic Pro. And I definitely learned a lot, made some music. But about a year after that, one of my college friends just organized a Vegas trip, and I'd never really been to Vegas. I'd never been into a casino all through college. So I was about 23 the first time I was ever in a casino. He dragged me into there on the Vegas trip. I mean, I just went along to be with my friends because we were all graduated and living in different places. And so it was more to be with them. I had no interest in gambling at all, but he was like, come on, you got to try blackjack. It's Vegas. We're here. And so, I don't know. I just kind of liked the game, and I think it's a lot of people like the game. Just like, it's kind of fun to just play, even casually. It's just fun. So I just, for whatever reason, just kept thinking about it after that Vegas trip and thinking, I like it. So I went through a little period of just gambling with no edge. I thought these progression systems worked, doubling up, getting back all you, Martingale, getting back all your losses with one win. The logic that you have to win eventually, or within 7 or 8 hands, you're going to win once. But obviously, that doesn't work. So,
what you mean the casinos know what they're doing?
Yeah, I never got heat for that. So,
so how did that transition into card counting?
So yeah, for a month or two, I was thinking that maybe worked, and I earned a little bit, but then I eventually just lost whatever money I took to the casino. And so I knew card counting worked just based on movies and hearing about it. So something I've always done is really just when I get into something, I really focus on it, like learning Japanese or playing tennis. That was my main sport growing up. I just really put a lot into it. So for whatever reason, I just got into card counting, read probably 10 books on it. I just read everything. Wong's book was probably what helped me the most with all the charts with indices and everything. But I read a lot on it. Ian Anderson,
Professional Blackjack?
Professional Blackjack. Yeah, I guess he has a lot of books. Ian Anderson's book, Burning the Tables, was also pretty inspiring. It just it didn't necessarily translate to how I played the game, but it was just a good book that really piqued my interest in it.
Awesome. Well, hopefully my book will fill in the gaps since burning the tables in Las Vegas, because it is a bit of a different approach nowadays than back then.
Yeah. I don't know if it's that relevant, but I think he just painted a good picture of counting, and it just inspired me a bit. So
absolutely, yeah. I was substitute teaching when I was first getting into card counting, and I took the cover off the book because I didn't want like kids seeing what I was reading, but I was reading that book like, whenever I'm just sitting at the teacher's desk. So how did you train? What would that look like?
There really wasn't much training.
That doesn't sound good.
No, I'm not saying I started out perfectly, but I was definitely confident, and I'd played a lot of blackjack. I had basic strategy down pat.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't just going in having never played before. Like playing those progressions for a few months, I definitely been in casinos a fair amount, and I made a point to know all the indices pretty well before I stepped into a casino.
Okay,
and I kind of practiced those.
That's training. So you did a bit of training. Perfect basic strategy. You knew the indices, and you practiced counting probably before going in there.
Yeah, what I meant with no training was I never really had the deck out on the kitchen table, fanning through the cards, and then or just counting down decks. I never really did much counting down decks. I just kind of made sure I knew what I was supposed to be doing, and then
you went for it.
I went for it, but at really low stakes, and I'm sure I probably made a few errors in the beginning.
Oh yeah, you and me both. But fortunately, with a little luck at the beginning, neither you or I got wiped out.
Yeah, I definitely experienced great variance.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Overall, but especially in the beginning, which was a pivotal moment, I would say.
Yeah, there's kind of a thought that you have to get lucky in the beginning, and that's not true. It might be true if you start with $2,000 like I did, but we've got members that just got crushed for their first 100 hours. So I don't think it's necessary to get lucky at the beginning, but it definitely helps.
Oh yeah, definitely helps. I've heard before that the guys who get lucky in the beginning are the ones who stay with it. And I'm sure with a program like yours, there's enough, you instill enough confidence, and they network enough to know that it works, even if they don't start out at the beginning. But for me, kind of as a lone wolf out there, I think it was crucial to start out well, because if I had gotten crushed off the bat, I probably would have just turned to something else. So, because I didn't have that network coming into it.
Yeah, one guy I can think of, SD1. I'm going to try to interview him soon, but he lost like his first 200 hours, I want to say, or he broke even at the 200-hour point. But since then, he's won six figures and all part-time. But I think he knew it worked, and he was well networked, so he stuck with it. But I know I would have given up if I would have lost that initial 2,000. I would have just quit.
Yeah.
So tell us what it was like when you first started. 3,000. What were you betting?
I was betting just table minimum. I was looking for $5 tables pretty much. Unless maybe I got on a double deck, I'd probably play a $10 or $15 minimum. And then for the first, I don't know, until I broke maybe 10 or 15,000, I was just betting true count times $10 on two hands. So like a true 6, 2x60, something like that.
Love it. Some people, they want to go straight to the 50 or 100 or 200 an hour EV, but you can build up to that. Yeah,
I probably actually got that AV in the beginning somehow. I just ran super well, but my EV was definitely small in the beginning.
So you were able to find decent $5 games.
Yeah,
not everywhere in the country is that an option. So you were fortunate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, or I was living in the Midwest, and there were some great games. I mean, good penetration. The state I was in, it was mostly 6-deck, but within like a 2-hour drive, I could actually find some double deck, really well cut. $10, good rules, and these games are awful if your name is notorious. But for starting out, I mean, my name is clean. I was playing on a card. They checked the card through the database, possibly didn't find anything, so just eased them, I bet, and I could play all-nighters, play tons of hours, and really build the bankroll. So that was fortunate. to be where I was. If I was on the East Coast, it would have been totally different.
So you played rated from the get-go?
Oh yeah, I was all about the comps also. I mean, the free food, all of that. Just
any noteworthy early comps?
Well, I was playing in a market that had like 6 casinos, and I've always found that those kind of markets have much better comps because they're all competing with each other.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty much getting like steakhouse dinners or great buffets and rooms from like any number of these casinos in one area. So it was kind of unlimited, and just as given my bankroll, this was great because instead of spending any of my own money on food, I could just
totally
yeah.
Free food, always a plus. Yeah. So how quickly did you start ramping up your betting?
Well, I started counting in July 2016, and till about December, I was just kind of steadily earning money, but I hadn't changed my betting a whole lot, and I'd made $35,000 in that initial 6 months. Nice. And then so I had close to 40,000 coming into 2017, and at the beginning of 2017, I kind of started ramping it up a little bit and started getting heat for the first time. But I earned a lot more after that point, so it just steadily increased, but with much bigger amounts in the same amount of time starting then.
So how long was it before your first back off?
The first thing, I don't know. Yeah, there's some casinos right around me that are pretty sweaty, and they'll back people off 2 by 100 or less. And if I would have known to avoid those, I think I could have stayed out of the database a lot longer, because I had been playing a stakes that if I just played certain places, they wouldn't have cared for at all. So, but I think the first back off came, like November 2016. So actually during that first 6 months, I was not really betting more than 2 by 100. But
how did that feel getting your first back off? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it. And they created my OSN account also.
Son of a gun.
But I don't know. It was okay. I mean, I knew I had tons of places to play, and it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's not like it just ended my career or anything. I mean, it was fine.
So
kind of validated me.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 6 months, you won about $35,000, and then you started ramping up your betting quite a bit. Yeah,
and I would say I actually overbet with the 40K bankroll that I had. I was even occasionally going 2 by 500, which is way over betting. And about 3 months after that, I got CBCX, the software that tells you your risk of ruin. So from that January to March, I was grossly over betting, but it was working. And then by March, I had close to 100,000, and then I could bet that. And then I got CBCX, the software, and it showed me what my risk was before, but now my risk wasn't so bad. And so, and from there, I just used that software and plugged in the games that I was playing, and I was able to bet a decent amount. And so it just, I kept winning, and the way I had been, but with less of a risk. So it felt better after that.
Yeah. So you'd probably advise people to get some betting software a little sooner?
Yeah. I mean, maybe even right off the bat, because at low stakes, it's interesting to know if you're making $10 an hour or $40 an hour. I think that's pretty interesting even with a tiny bankroll. So I think it's good for everyone.
And more importantly, to mitigate your risk, because, you lose your bankroll, you're in a tough spot. So one of the questions Joe wanted me to ask you is, what is your longest losing streak in terms of number of hours?
So I was really fortunate. I didn't have any real bad losing streaks. I think some people who hear about my results think I'm the luckiest player ever and was way over EV, but I actually was close to EV. But the difference between me and a lot of players is I never had huge downswings. I just I had some stretches, I'd say 100 hours where I broke even, but I never had to resize. And that's a huge advantage, I think, because when you resize, you're spending the same amount of time playing, but earning less than you could be if you hadn't gone through that downswing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped my bankroll keep increasing at the rate that it did, was because I never had to resize. So that was really great. But I was near EV. I just had some break-even sections of my career. Maybe 100 hours was the most.
So it's really interesting from my perspective, because I teach this stuff, and it you can say, oh well, you've got a 1% chance of this or a 10% chance of that, and it all just sounds like completely hypothetical. But at this point, I've known enough card counters. It's like, I know the guys that have had the worst of the runs, and the guys that have had the best of the runs, and everywhere in between. And it's not surprising that it's out of the ordinary to not have any horrible losing streaks, but there's bound to be some card counters that have that, and you won the lottery there.
Yeah.
So how go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not saying I never had big losses. Like, I had a day where I lost 60,000 in one day, and I mean, some people could consider that like a losing streak, but at that point I was already over $500,000, and I didn't have to resize because of that.
Yeah.
When I say a break-even streak, it might have been swinging 50,000 in each direction, a bit. I just want to clarify that I had big losses for sure. I just didn't have the long, grinding losing streaks that take months that a lot of players experience.
Yeah. So. Well, and of course, some people like, Joe or Richard Munchkin, it's like, that's what we all kind of commiserate or have to, kind of end up talking about, because that's what we remember. That's the toughest part of the job. But I mean, continuing to battle with a $60,000 losing day, that's no easy feat. A lot of people would be like, second guess what they're doing with their life after losing $60,000 in a day. How many hours have you played total?
I played almost 2,500 hours in that 2 years. It was really a lot of hours, and so
say that again. How many?
Almost 2,500 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think people might underestimate that when they hear my earnings, but I played a lot of hours
at blackjack.
A lot of hours at big stakes where the EV was pretty high. So I was lucky to get in a lot of time, even when I'd raised my stakes to a point when, a lot of casinos shouldn't be allowing that to happen, but they did.
Yep. That's a lot of double downs, a lot of splits, a lot of winning and losing hands. That's awesome. So I know Raimo, one thing he was saying that was a boon for you is keeping your expenses low. You want to talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
that was great. I was really in the best position to have the kind of AP career that I did, talking about the rest of my life. So my parents have their own business, and I was helping them out just when I was home. It wasn't a set work schedule. There was so much lenience in terms of that. And so they kind of took care of food and whatnot when I was home, and I wasn't paying any rent because my grandfather owned a couple of houses in the town that I was in the town where my parents live, and he passed away, and then we acquired one of the houses, and that kind of became my place to live. I don't know. No debt. No debt from college. No kids. No major purchases. I wasn't living extravagantly either. So pretty much just gas and I don't know. Towards the latter half of my AP career, when I wasn't playing rated, I guess I was paying for food, but
you can afford to buy your own food and get your own hotel when you're making a couple $100 an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's a lot. It's hard if you go on a trip, if you're making $25 an hour, and the first 10 hours are going to be covering your expenses. It be brutal.
Yeah. I mean, Rimo, he has kids and utilities and everything, and I was young and single and was just in a pretty good position to keep investing. So I never invested any outside money in my bankroll, but I also really never had to take away much from my bankroll. Definitely in the beginning, I wasn't taking away anything. Everything I earned playing was going right into the bankroll. So
yeah, absolutely.
That definitely helped.
So Remo also said you perhaps went through a few cars.
Yeah. As much as I played and as much as I drove, I guess I increased my odds of a traffic accident just based on how much time I was out there on the road. But I totaled 2 cars, but neither of them were my fault. Just happened, bad luck, I guess. But insurance luckily paid for most of that, and so.
Well, I totaled a car on a blackjack trip, and it was my fault. So, which is actually kind of a good point to those people listening. When I was talking to Rimo earlier, asking if he had any questions for Yoshi, he was saying somehow we got onto the topic of driving and the long trips, and he was saying that he caught himself like getting drowsy driving and chosen to pull over. It reminded me of an early trip with my earlier team where I was riding right behind the driver and the person driving started to nod off and I like shook his shoulder, woke him up, but there can be a lot of driving as a card counter or advantage player, but just, we want to keep our risk low, both at the tables and on the roads, all that stuff.
Yeah. I really made a point to, just if I felt like I was in any kind of dangerous shape to drive, mid-drive, I would just find a gas station and pull over and sleep. I actually slept in my car just for full nights. When I didn't feel like paying for a hotel, especially like if I was down in the South and it was warm. And like I said, I lived pretty cheap. Even after I had considerable bankroll, I still did that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had no qualms about sleeping in the car. And so if I was tired driving and I thought I could be putting myself in danger, just always pulled over. And because I had total freedom in my schedule, I wasn't rushing back to my kids or rushing back to a job on Monday. So that was a good thing that I could kind of just take my time and make sure I was doing it safely.
And going back to the topic of keeping expenses low, there's no right or wrong way to be an advantage player, and it really depends what your goals are. But it is a common thread. I think a lot of us, we enjoy the freedom that the money provides more than like just buying nice things. And, so, I think most card counters I know have slept in their car just to save the $150 or whatever. And I don't know if I would do that at this point, but I definitely have in the past, and I get it. It makes that bankroll last a lot longer. So how long of trips did you typically go on?
Especially, when I was in the beginning, I was playing really close to home, within 2 and 3 hours of home, and I had a lot of games that I could just keep playing. So that I wasn't really taking long trips then. I would stay in the comp hotels if I wanted, or I would just come home, either way. But then as I started to get burnt out, I had to go to the South, to the East Coast, to the West Coast. And so I wouldn't want to cut myself short on, if I'm driving all the way there, I want to make the most of it. Sometimes it'd be 2-3 weeks straight playing every day, but just on the road. And sometimes places would let me camp for a couple of days. Sometimes it was like 1 or 2 or 3 casinos in a day, and then on to the next day and different ones, and getting back off all of them. Just depended where I was.
Was there a point where you made a decision to go kind of all in with card counting, or did it just kind of happen pretty organically?
I'd say it happened organically. Like I said, just winning steadily in the beginning, just my confidence was sky high about it working and about earning more and setting goals for earnings, and that kept the motivation alive a lot. So it's just kind of really consumed me for those 2 years that I did it.
So how did Well, actually, let me back up. What are your biggest wins and losses as far as sessions?
I was like I said before, the $60,000 day. It was within like one day. I woke up and went to sleep, and that 60,000 was within that. But that was spread out over, I think, 3 casinos. There was also just one casino I played for 8 hours and lost almost 50,000. That was another time. But with both of those losses, my bankroll was at a certain point where it was okay. I mean, I didn't resize, and I could kind of grind out of that within a pretty short amount of time. Actually, after those experiences, I just like won for a few weeks after that. So that was great. And then on the winning side, I did have a couple sessions right around 6 figures, 2 different casinos. So those were pretty nice.
Yeah, we had, I think, one guy on the church team won $100,000 at Verona in a day. And Max Rubin was not happy about it. But maybe I feel like we had a guy with $80,000 win, but I mean, that's over 6 years of the church team. We had, one 6-figure, $100,000 win, and Raimo was saying you had a couple in that range.
Yeah, they happened in about 3 months. One of them in March and one in May. So that was pretty nice to.
So for those listening, everybody's like, oh, you could get away with this stuff 10, 15 years ago, but it still happens.
Yeah. I mean, if they're letting me get away with that now in 2018, and card counting's been around for 30 years. I don't think there's any. That. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible.
Still. So another thing Raimo was saying is that you guys would have a tendency to just bump into each other in like around the country. He said this is how he put it. He said, before long, I started always booking a room with at least 2 beds, because inevitably you or Levi would be like within an hour's drive. Is that true?
It just tended to happen. I mean, I talk to Raimo all the time, and we usually know where we each other is. I mean, we'd be telling each other where we are, where we're playing, what casinos. But we also tend to move around so fast based on back-offs that it just so happened one time, I guess he had been in the upper Midwest and I'd been all the way in the South. And then somehow we're both like within an hour of each other in Oklahoma.
That's amazing.
Like he said, oh, I'm about to play this casino. And I was like, that's the exact casino that's in my GPS. I'm on my way there. And I don't know. It's fun because then we shared a hotel. We've shared hotels in a lot of different places, and cuts down on expenses for both of us. And it's great just to hang out as well. Since we're playing and out on the road alone, it's awesome to hang out with good friends like that.
He said he gets to be the big spoon when you have to share a bed.
No, I don't know if we ever shared a bed. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It really became an inside joke between us, even when like I had no chance of being where he was. He's like, well, I'm getting 2 beds just in case you book a flight.
Yeah.
Today.
So with all this play, 2,500 hours, I mean, even before the 2,500 hours, just maybe 500 hours in, how did it all compare to your expectations?
Yeah, I think it really changed my life. I don't know. Coming out of college, I was like, I wasn't broke or anything, and I was like stable. I could work for my parents. I knew there were a lot of things I could do, but I really never had any money, and it all like kind of built on itself so quickly once I started counting cards, and it just I don't know, the perspective and the expectations the goalpost just kept getting set further and further back, and I guess that happened kind of organically, but also kind of fast. I mean, in the amount of time. So
yeah,
definitely a life-changing experience.
How's it changed your view of money?
I mean, I try to not take it for granted. I mean, right now I don't have any income. I'm actually focusing on music again, and with that kind of thing, there's no guarantee it'll go anywhere. And so I'm really not trying to splurge or just think I can just go earn this again if I start counting cards again. I mean, I could easily go through huge downswings right off the bat, and I don't know. I mean, I just try not to take it for granted, but it's definitely, I definitely think in a little bit of a different way. I don't hold back from nice dinners now and doing things I want to do, whereas maybe before I would have been like, well, I want to do that, I want to eat that meal, but I just can't, and so I think I'd like to think I'm a little bit happier just because I'm not stressed about money at the moment, at least with smaller purchases, meals, going to different destinations, paying for concert tickets, just stuff like that.
So have there been any negative, unexpected results, just as far as like the life of a card counter?
Yeah, well, I would say even 1 year ago, so halfway through the 2 years, I was just all about counting. It's all I wanted to do. No interest in, I don't know, no loneliness, I would say at that point. It was just all I was focused on. I was super happy and I was motivated and I was just really doing what I wanted to do. And then in this past year, I don't know really when it happened, but I slowly started to burn out, and I thought it wouldn't happen. When I was on Gambling with an Edge a year ago, I think I gave the impression that I didn't think I was going to burn out for a long time, and it actually happened a lot quicker than I thought. Just feelings of loneliness, and I was really earning a lot of money. I was my bankroll kept hitting all-time highs, but I actually wasn't happy, and it's really hard to. It would have been hard to fathom that a year and a half ago, and it just happens. And I know it's happened to other people too, and I'd heard that, but I thought, oh well, that won't happen to me, and I just began to seek a more normal life. I was kind of envying my friends who maybe weren't earning that kind of money, but had a state. They were grounded. They had a friend group. They had maybe a relationship, just a normal life with a more routine. And so, yeah, being on the road really does take a toll, especially with that many hours. And you kind of feel like you don't have an aim. You're chasing money. Money's important, but at a certain point, it doesn't bring happiness anymore. So
yeah, I mean, money is just a resource, and like having more of a resource isn't in a good end game in itself. I remember like in high school and college, all I wanted to do was be in a band, and some of my friends were in bands that I really looked up to. One of them, they even asked me if I wanted. They lost their second guitarist. They're like, Colin, basically asking me to drop out of college and join their band, and I said no because I thought I should finish college. And then they got a record deal, and I was like, oh, what did I do? And I remember feeling like so jealous. They're touring around the country, they're playing with even bigger bands and all that stuff. It was all I ever wanted to do. And then like another 2-3 years later, I'm talking to them, I'm like, oh, I just want a job. Like, I just want to, like, one of them's like, oh, yeah. And this was a band, they were like my favorite band at the time. And the drummer's like, I think I'm going to become a bartender because then I can just be at home. And and I'm like, what is going on here? You're like, living to me what seems like the dream life. But after a few years, they got burned out from it and were looking for some normalcy. I think the thing about card counting, the nice thing is it's a trade, like a band, you can't just like pick it up again in 5 years if you need to make some more money. Card counting, you actually can, as long as you have a bankroll and keep your skills fresh. But I think you can get into this rut where you feel like you need to do it and you don't. And if it's like if you're miserable, like, man, step away. So I'm glad to hear that rather than you playing further into burnout or whatever, just like not being in a good spot personally.
Yeah. I would say even when I was around 800,000 or so, I was really unhappy, but I think I really wanted to hit seven figures. It was like a big goal. And I also thought it could take another year or so. So I was prepared to play much longer. Mm-hmm. But once that happened, I kind of was okay with, just like what you said, I don't need to be playing and I'm unhappy. So let's not play. And, I think that's, really important. Cause I was in a rut of just feeling like I had to play for these earnings goals, but now
that's like that's what workaholics do. Like it's like the classic story of the dad who's like a lawyer or doctor or whatever, and he never sees his kids because he just works all the time, and and it's really hard to like step back and say, wait, why am I doing this? It's probably easier as a card counter because you don't have like clients and all that stuff waiting on you. But it's just, I'd encourage anybody to step back, whatever you're doing, and say, why am I doing this? Is it really furthering my big picture goals, or am I like, living for the next like carrot in front of me?
Yeah, that's really what it was for a while. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, what I kind of learned is to really enjoy it when it's good, because in the beginning I was loving it. And I think a lot of APs who are starting out and maybe have goals like I had are in that period where it's great. They're motivated. They love the challenge. They love the travel. And so I realized that wherever you are, like now I'm working on music, so I'm loving that challenge right now. And I'm sure maybe even someday, even if I got established, I would grow unhappy with that. So nothing's ever perfect. And so just really for upcoming APs, just when it's good, enjoy it. Don't take it for granted. And nothing's ever going to feel the same way forever. So
yeah. Any other unexpected positive results to card counting other than money?
I mean, it was lonely, but I did meet some great people. Obviously, Rimo, Levi, Joe, you. Just, I don't know. It's a good community, and these are friends I think I'll always have. So, and I wouldn't have met them any other way. So that's something I'm definitely grateful for.
So.
That eased the loneliness for sure, because I don't know, without them during that period on the road, it was already kind of miserable, but that it helped a lot having those friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've wanted for quite a while to add a section to the forum for our members that's life after blackjack. Just to like have those conversations, because it can be, kind of a confusing, like, well, now what? And some people figure out how blackjack continues to fit into their life, and some people decide, you know what, I'm done, and that's okay. Like, that's great. You used it for what you want it for, and like, I don't think people have to be card counters forever. But I'm glad to hear you're at least taking a break, if not retired.
Yeah.
So
I'll say one other unexpected thing. It's just kind of a funny story. I'm currently spending time in Colorado with my girlfriend, and having a great time with her. And I met her in Kansas City because I was gambling there, but I'd actually been comped a Packers, like NFL tickets to a Packers game from this casino in Wisconsin last December. And I was going to go with, I don't really pay much attention to football. I just thought NFL game for free. And I had a friend who was into watching football, so I was going to go with him. And then that casino ended up trespassing me like a week before the game.
Oh no.
Just by mail, actually. I hadn't even been there. And so I didn't go to that game, and then I went to Kansas City instead, and then I met my girlfriend. And so that just, I wouldn't have been in Kansas City at that time in the first place without gambling, but also because I was 86 from that other casino, I ended up in Kansas City there and met her. And so now I'm spending time with her, and just funny how things work like that.
Yeah. Card Kang's been bringing people together since 1965.
Yeah.
So a few more questions for you. this is a big one I've been wondering, is when I took you to my favorite taco truck for lunch, would you say that A, it slightly exceeded your expectations, B, it greatly exceeded your expectations, or C, it massively exceeded your expectations?
I'll say greatly, because I knew you wouldn't be taking me to anywhere without pretty good tacos. But it was awesome, and I think I even told you I asked you for the name because I wanted to go back there for more that day because I was still hungry. But
a bang bang, that's what they call it when you have lunch and then you go have a second lunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, now that we got the important stuff out of the way, what's a favorite casino story?
Favorite casino story? It's kind of hard. I will say one thing. Even in recent times when I wasn't playing rated on cards, and Raimo knows all about this, I just had really good luck in still getting these great offers because I would play unrated, probably get backed off or countermeasured or whatever, go cash out a bunch of chips at the cage, and then I'd have to show ID because it'd be a CTR or whatever. They'd look up my name, see I had an account, and a lot of these places seem to be rating me for that play. And then all of a sudden, a month later, I'd get like $750 promo chip, like 4 nights in a suite at like the Plaza or something. Just, which I didn't deserve at all. I hadn't played rated. I don't know. It was these great comps, which seemed to be a thing of the past, actually started showing up again with these random occurrences where they rated me, even though they backed me off and I played unrated. So it happened at a few different places, and it happened on some, like a Hollywood, and so then my office would be good for all those marquee properties, and it gave me a lot of opportunities for free stays, and then I would go play in places because I knew I had free stays, and then maybe I had great trips there, and so I had some really good luck with all that.
Awesome. So as you look back, it sounds like as a whole, you're glad you did this.
Definitely. It now gives me financial freedom to focus on music. And I think a lot of aspiring musicians maybe have to also work a job and they can't put as much time toward it, and that holds them back. So I think I'm in a good position now to give this a try. And if this doesn't work out, I'm definitely still happy right now with this freedom. And I can probably focus on the things I want to for a while. And also the travel. I mean, I was lonely at the time a lot of the time, but since I'm not playing currently, I've really been reminiscing about driving through places like North Dakota, like these barren landscapes, and Wyoming, and the Southwest is really pretty. And I just have really fond memories of going and earning money in these places, but also getting to see a lot of the country, which I just might not have had a reason to go see otherwise. And
what was the longest break you took during that 2-year stretch?
Really not much. I mean, I was there might have been a couple weeks here and there for different things. Like I took a trip to my Japan with my dad for a couple weeks. There's no casinos there. I wasn't going to give up things like that. But I was really motivated by my earnings goals, and especially the first year and a half, I was just really enjoying it also. So it's what I wanted to be doing. It wasn't like a job. It's like just what I would have wanted to do in my free time if I had a job. So the fact that I was able to do it all the time, just that's how I got 2,500 hours, I guess, just really all the time.
I guess the reason I ask is I feel similar to you, where it took being away from it for a while to really appreciate it. You know, like I was writing about this recently, even just the like little bowling alley casinos where I was generating $7 an hour of EV. Like those were some sweet times, but at the time, all I could think about was getting to, $10 an hour and $20 an hour. And, rather than really like stopping to reflect and being like, man, this is pretty cool. So hopefully you get more time to reflect on it. Are you going to like try to journal or write or anything to reflect on the last couple of years?
I don't know. Some of my friends keep telling me, write a book. And I'm like, well, there's already lots of books out there. And they're like, no, but your experience is different. But I think like doing this podcast, and I think They invited me back on Gambling with an Edge a second
sweet.
time. And I've been just texting with a lot of guys that are currently playing. I'm always happy to talk about casinos that maybe I played and they're going to play. And so I'm not shutting it out of my life. I'm still down to network about it, but I just think not playing is definitely going to be better for me and my happiness and let me focus on other things. Because I've often thought about that 2,500 hours, like the money I made was amazing, but if I put that amount of hours on anything, I mean, you can become great at anything with that amount of time. So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I guess as you continue to, give back or share information with other people, you'll be able to kind of reflect and process the last couple years of blackjack.
Yeah. I think it's definitely good to, I'm reminiscing about it a lot. The travel and like I said, so it's definitely fun to talk about it and give back and write about it, talk to others still.
Awesome. Any final advice or thoughts you want to share with people as they're somewhere in their card counting journey?
I think I've just touched on it already. I mean, money at a certain point doesn't buy happiness, so I think you should really, if you can keep doing it and strike a balance, that's great. But if you're all in, just really enjoy it when it's good and when you're having fun with it, and when it's not anymore, just know that you don't have to keep playing. You can come back to it later, or you can just give it up and just see what else happens. But don't let yourself get too lonely, too depressed, too unhappy. Money isn't going to solve everything, so really try to find out what's important to you. And
there's an awesome quote I heard a few years ago that I really like, which is that money is to be used and people are to be enjoyed. And a lot of people, it's, at least our culture can kind of get that backwards and say, we use people so that we can enjoy money. And, I just don't think that lasts. So your advice is sage wisdom, whether it's for card counters or, anybody, to really prioritize the things that contribute to our lives, and money does to a point, but then it really ceases to. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this with us, and we'll be checking out for the second Gambling with an Edge interview you do. Interested to see what they have to ask. Probably be a little more technical than I'm being, but that'll be good. And continue to enjoy working on music and hanging out with people you care about.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. Thanks for having me. This was a blast, and it was great to be able to talk about less technical things and more about life and perspectives, just like we did when I met you in Seattle. So thanks for having me,
dude. My pleasure. Thanks so much for doing this, and we'll catch you next time.